belongs to the Horizon Europe strategic program, and they fund specific projects with the aim to improve capacity building and networking in sub-Saharan African countries, using a strategic partnership with European institutions as well.
Yes, the general objective is to strengthen partnership between European and African countries. So yeah, it's related to health, but there are other topics that could be interesting.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And they also fund different fellowship programs in order to improve the networking capacities, and what they call research and innovation actions, because they want also to foster health development through innovation. Every year they launch the program by usually December, and the scope is usually focused on major infectious diseases threats in sub-Saharan African countries. They're particularly interested in funding later stage studies in vulnerable populations in order to strengthen the research capacities in Africa. But every year the specific topics change. They are usually around HIV, malaria, NTDs, tuberculosis, and the latest years they have also been funding innovation through technological digital health strategies. This is the case of our successful story, that our project is called Multiplex, and is the full title is Intelligent Autonomous Microscope. That is basically an AI platform, artificial intelligence platform for multiple parasite diagnosis at the point of care. And in this project, we have 2 European institutions that provide support in the quality assurance. We are a main technological partner in the proposal, and then there are also another 4 Sub-Saharan African institutions based in Mozambique, Nigeria, Ethiopia, and Ivory Coast. And in this partnership, we also included a small company based in Nigeria that is going to provide us support in the market access study and the regulation in Sub-Saharan Africa to launch our platform. That is basically upgrading any microscope that is already available at the point of care through artificial intelligence and the application of smartphone-based technologies that could automate the detection of different parasites. And if you're not familiar with this kind of programs, they always want you to develop the proposal into different work packages, where you always have to have a package focused on project coordination and scientific dissemination. Then in our case, we have another work package focused on technology development, another one focused on ethics. That is an important component for artificial intelligence technologies. And then we have another 2 focused on clinical aspects of the proposal, the performance evaluation and the quality assurance. And finally, we have another work packages that are going to evaluate the usability, feasibility through a social science team, which is also going to give feedback to the health economics department, that are going to provide a whole cost effectiveness of the intervention, and also another work package is going to focus on the health impact assessment of this technology implementation. And finally, we have a last work package focused on the regulation and path to market of this technology, where we have and Nigerian partner helping with the regulation and exploitation plan. So in these proposals, it's important that the coordinator has to be what they call an associated member in Europe, which is a European country, or as an exception, South Africa. But any other African-based country can participate as a partner, where they can have the leading role of scientific coordinator. That is a key aspect of the whole proposal, and is mandatory, this scientific coordinator, to be one partner in sub-Saharan Africa. So this is relevant because it can take the lead of not only the scientific, but also the dissemination, communication plan of the whole proposal, and it could be an important role for institutions in Nigeria. And in this, here you can have an overview of the timeline of this EDCTP proposal. In the case is the timeline of this year, where the call usually opens at the beginning of the year, because they usually by December have already the requirements and the whole project, the program description available. So if you go to the red, you can see in the red blocks that the important dates are basically in March every year, which is the deadline for what they call the stage 1, because these proposals are always organized and split into 2 different stages. The stage 1, in our experience, is very important because it's when you get together the whole consortium, and it's the opportunity for you to contact if you have an idea that you want to develop with other institutional partners, because the consortium has to be strong and well coordinated in order to have a successful proposal. They want to have multidisciplinary teams with proven track record of research done in the topic. And in this stage, you only have to develop what they call the excellence and impact part, where you basically describe your idea and why this is important in 10 pages. And this is like a simple concept note, but it has to be very attractive idea, focus, very important in the topics of the year. They always have an agenda that you have to follow very truly in order to tackle the specific aims and objectives they want to do. And it's important to start getting together the consortium early in I will say at the beginning of every year if you want to participate in these SDSP calls, because it takes a while to coordinate the whole idea and to get everybody in the same page on what they want to present. And then you go to the stage 2. Well, they announce the resolution of the stage 1 usually by May, or well, no, sorry, usually by July. And then those projects that have been successful, they go to the next stage. These initiatives usually try to approve 3 times the available budget. If you go to the second stage, let's say, you have 1/3 of chances to get funded. And in this stage is a more elaborated proposal because you have to include all the budget by detail, by partner, and also all the implementation, not only describing the main methodology like in stage 1, but all the how you plan to implement and develop the whole project by partner and by work package. And in here, it's sometimes difficult to get all the partners to get to split their budget by detail, but it's very important to have it all coordinated in order to avoid misunderstandings later. And also for you to be able to put the idea in the details. And it is true that it's helpful also to have a preliminary budget already agreed by stage 1, but it's in stage 2 that you actually submit the whole budget in different sections to the platform. And this stage takes a long time. So in our experience, we will advise you to start preparing if you get to stage 1 more than a month in advance, because at the end it's a full proposal of around 45 pages, and you have to explain everything to the detail. And if you finally get notified, that usually happens by the end of the year, that announce the successful proposal, then you initiate the stage of grant agreement preparation. Okay, it's in this stage that you put into a specific format your technical proposal and upload it to the platform in a different, well, it's a different platform than the one you use for submission. And for this stage, it is very important, if you haven't had it already validated, the peak number, because this is a number that the European Commission used to track and do the capacity assessment of every institution. And it is not required to have it validated at the submission stages, but it is advised, because if you don't have it validated and there is an issue, it could bring complications through the grant agreement preparation. Like, it's exactly our experience. One of the partners have an issue with the peak number because it was not considered an independent institution from Switzerland, and we couldn't have a peak number from Switzerland, for instance, because it's not an associated member of the European Commission. So we had to change the partner to the university based in Ivory Coast, and it would have been easier if we could have identified the issue with the peak number during the submission stages. So if you can get your institution to have the peak number registered and validated, that will help you sometime later. And another important role you get to have your proposal funded is to have what they call the LEAR, that is the legal representative of your institution, and that is going to be the one assigning the roles of financial and legal project representative, and it's usually like the dean of the university or the chancellor that has the power to delegate these roles. And if you have it identified as soon as possible, it will also help you sometime in the grant agreement preparation. And
yes, and the peak and the LEAR is common for all the...
May I interrupt you just for a while?
Yes.
You must say so many interesting things, but I wonder if the participant has some specific questions to this respect, because I mean, otherwise it will be difficult for them just to follow up. So my question is, does the participant has any questions on this? What I would like to say is that when Elena mentioned the peak number, you do remember that we speak a lot about the peak number, how is important the peak number, and she mentioned that not only you have to have a peak number, but it's important that the peak number has to be validated. So this means that all the complementary information have to be added. So there are no questions on this?
Yes, and in order to have it, in the meantime, I was just going to clarify that in order to have your peak number validated as an institution, you usually have to upload a specific document showing your legal status. And this is usually very common for universities, but if you have it registered and validated, even if you don't have any project funded, it will help you sometimes in the future, because the institution is gonna stay with the CPIC number for any other European calls, not only EDCPP, but many other Horizon Europe calls. So it will be a good thing to have it validated just in case, and address any potential issues that may arise from the process, because sometimes these proposals get stuck in bureaucratic stages, so you can anticipate them the better.
Exactly. Well, I mean, unfortunately, there are no questions, because sorry, there is someone who is saying, Ayodele said, we had a training on PDCP some weeks ago, but we could not get the calls. I'm sorry. There is another one who is asking to you, my question is related to whether we did not get to see the EDCP call for 2024. So the question is how it is possible to plan the launch of the call, because we said many times, we repeated again, the key advantage of the success factor for this project is to anticipate or to have a clear planning of the launch of the call. So if you can write which is the website where it is possible just to register, in order then just to understand and to anticipate the call. You can write later on in chat. Sorry, Elena. Thank you.
Yes, and I will advise you not only to check their website, but also to follow them in platforms like LinkedIn, because they always announce the programs they are going to launch. This one, the EDCP3, they usually announce it by the end of the year. Like December is a good time to pay attention to their postings, because they are going to publish the whole program announcing the specific topic they are going to fund that year. And they not only provide funding opportunities, they also offer free training for partners to learn how to write successful proposal, the different format and sections they require to learn. And also they provide different platforms for networking opportunity, where you can do matchmaking with other partners with the same idea you have, or that they can contribute or add to your idea, creating that way a strong consortium for a later proposal. And yeah, I don't know if we mentioned, but in case you're not familiar, it's a requirement for this consortium to have at least one institution based in a member state in Europe or South Africa as an exception. And at least one based in sub-Saharan African countries. Those are the requirements. However, the more multidisciplinary your consortium is, I think the stronger your proposal is going to be. So if you can include technological partners, small companies, other institutions that can add value to the proposal in a different section, like social science, economics, regulation, path to market, and all of that, it will bring you some value. I don't know if you also know that the grant agreement is only signed between European Commission and the coordinator of the consortium. And then what you do in the grant preparation phase is you develop what they call a consortium agreement, that when you specify the specific agreement between the partners that constitute the consortium. But it's only the coordinator that signs the grant agreement with the funding agency during the grant
of course
agreement
Thank you.
Preparation. It's usually an iteration, this stage with the project office. Yeah, sorry, Roberto, you wanted to ask?
No, it's fine. Carry on. Well, I mean, thank you, Jeff, for saying this, because we said this concept many times. There is a contract agreement or a grant agreement between the commission or between the managing authority and the lead partner, and then there is an internal consortium agreement between the lead partner and the partner. So it is your and the drafting of this consortium agreement, it is something which is time consuming and extremely complicated, because in the consortium agreement there are written all the different responsibilities between, and also what is the most important is financial allocation from among the different parts. Thank
you. Yes, and also to clarify, it is not a requirement to start your successful project to have a consortium agreement signed at the starting time of the project, but it is advised, because that means that everything has been put into place from the different legal departments and everyone agree in the action plan, and they are all in the same page, because sometimes the different legal departments want to add and modify different rights for access to results, exploitation of the technology, or depending on what your proposal is based on. It is advised to start working on that consortium agreement right at the moment that you got your project invite to prepare for the grant agreement with the European Commission. This consortium agreement can be modified. You always include your background in one of the annexes where every partner describes what it brings to the project, and that can be modified later on. But the sooner you have it signed, the better if your proposal is successful. And also during the grant preparation, when they do the validation of your PIC number, they usually do a financial capacity check through the legal document you have to upload. So yeah, all of that is a requirement for you to be able to participate as a partner. Is the coordinator then that distributes the allocated budget to each partner later when they get the pre-financing, that is usually at the beginning of the project. And there are usually 3 terms depending on the call that they do interim payments, and it's all through the coordinator. European Commission transfer the funds to the coordinator, and the coordinator is the one in charge to allocate it to the different partners. I see a question here in the chat. Can you explain how easy or not was it to develop the proposal with Nigerian partners?
Yes, I think that also it depends on the person, but I think that we were very lucky with Gloria, because it was very easy for us to develop the proposal with her. Also, I think that it was a very important point to have the first meeting here in our office, because she can understand also the value of the technology and how we can work together. But from my experience, I think that it was so easy to work with her and her institution.
Yeah, also because she was already familiarized with this call and the Horizon Europe programs, so she could have everything into place. However, she was aware that her university, Amadou Bello, could bring some bureaucratic problems. So it's very good that she is the scientific coordinator in our proposal, because she was the one in charge of having all the legal aspects from her university that was not familiar with this project in place. For instance, in this case, one problem we face is that the LIAR they had assigned and validated for her university in Abuja was no longer active, and it was assigned like 10 years ago when there was no, there were different requirements. So it didn't have the what they call the mandate power. So we have to revalidate and transfer and assign a new leader that took like almost a month between comes and goes. And thanks to have a close relation with this Nigerian partner that was taking action right there, going to see the vice chancellor to have all the documents and legal things ready in the system, we could resolve it in a matter of a few weeks. But it's important to have someone in the institution active and aware of the different requirements from the European Commission.
In addition, it was a very nice EDCTP proposal this year with her as a partner. So I think that it also serves us to build the collaboration and to apply for other projects. There is another question here that which was the contribution from the Nigerian partners in terms of proposal writing. So I think that she has like a scientific background. So this one. Oh, sorry. So yes, she has a scientific background. So she gives us feedback, write the part of the distribution of the parasites, if the things that we propose with the technology is something affordable, if it makes sense in her country, and she write all of the clinical part of the proposal, and also how to perform the activities in terms of logistics in her country.
Yeah, exactly. She performs like the role of the coordinator for the clinical performance evaluation that it is, in our case, is going to take place in 4 different countries. So she kind of centralize and evaluate and bring everything together, and she's the one also assuring that the ethical approvals have been achieved, the different training are in place. So it's a key role because the scientific coordinator to have all the South African partners ready for the different stages of the clinical performance evaluation. And it's also going to be a key role in the dissemination of the results.
Yes, I think that this is the other question. Please explain more your plan to work with a Nigerian SME for product dissemination. The role of the project dissemination is in this in Amadou institution, and the idea is to share the results in different congress, to write the articles, and that part. Also, we include some, I think that radio dissemination for the local population of the project and other things.
And yeah, I don't know if this question is also addressed because I mentioned we also include a small company based in Nigeria for advice as for the regulation and the path to market. And we got into contact with this small, it's like a legal company through partnership with another institution in Barcelona that had already invited him to participate in another proposal. So sometimes it's networking between institutions that you got to know, oh, this other colleague invite to participate this legal firm that is going to advise for the regulation in South Africa, and then you get to network between European funded projects like that. But we haven't started the project, so we don't have experience with them so far. Then another question, how can my university enter into partnership with European Commission in research grant writing and training? For the grant writing, they are provided for free, these trainings. You can follow not only EDCTP, but also Horizon Europe platforms in the social media because they announce grant writing activities every few months. And you don't need to sign a specific partnership to participate. They also organize every year for this specific organization, what they call the EDCTP in Africa, where they get together different institutions to one of these calls where they present the results, and happen in June in Kigali in Kigali. And I will definitely follow the different platforms they have. We can provide you with the links later.
Michael, are you talking? We cannot hear you because you are mute.
Sorry, I was just saying that question actually should be directed to Cognitive, because it's a wider question, and that's the essence of the Nigerian NCP network. There are several trainings that you can benefit from. There are links that you can be given, and so it's beyond this particular topic that we are handling now. So let's limit our question to this presentation for now. General questions can come later. Participants, please. Thank you.
We can update the PowerPoint presentation with some links that could be interesting after the discussion, and then we can send to Roberto, for example, and you can disseminate the presentation. Is that okay?
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I do imagine that we stop you too much. So please carry on with your presentation, because otherwise we will not stay within the timing.
Yes, perfect.
Well, actually, this was pretty much what we have planned. You can go to the next one.
We have the we have the last
because we wanted to focus in the question and answer that the audience was interested in addressing. So we thought it could be more valuable than talking about our specific project.
Yes, I think that's all. Also, we are going to share our emails in case you are interested in apply in any project related to AI and health. We will be very happy to collaborate and to talk with you. We are always trying to apply for different projects, so we are happy also and open to collaborate in that sense. Thank you so much.
Yes, because one thing I wanted to add is that the European Commission values very positively the interaction and collaboration with other already funded proposals and projects going on, even if they are at the beginning of their project or the implementation phase. So it's advised also to try to be aware of the projects that are funded at the moment, because maybe you can create synergies with the projects that have already started, and you can focus in a stage 2, or they bring value to something you are going to develop. So they always value partnerships between projects that have been funded. So yeah, if you have any ideas where artificial intelligence plays a key role, we could also participate or advise from our experience.
Bene, Ayodele.
No, okay, sorry, I'm just saying that is also what I was asking, if there can be mentorship of some Nigerian research. So I think within Cognitive, we also look at those people with very high potential in artificial intelligence and introduce them to Elena and the team so that they can participate, listen in and see, and possibly develop something for the next calls.
Yeah, definitely, because in this case, the project that got funded that we present to you was based on microscopy and image analysis, but we also have other lines of research, including stratification of patients for clinical trials, for assessment of risk, or We also worked with large language models in projects that use smartphone applications in order to have like a co-pilot, like a chat, interactive chat that can give advice to healthcare providers in the diagnosis or prognosis of different patients, uploading images, uploading clinical data. So we participate in different things in digital health, and we are always open to innovate and bring technological value to proposals that maybe not have a technological component, but they are interested in developing an app to facilitate the track of the results or things like that.
Okay, so we can stop sharing. Thank you so much.
No, well,
for
well,
the
I mean, sorry,
opportunity
Elena.
again.
Well, I have many questions. This is important just to ask you. Can you stay for more time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sure. We can stay here, yes.
Okay, well, I mean, I wonder whether there are any other questions just from the participants. This is a unique occasion just to ask Elena and Lucia some question in terms of implementation, because you have a partner with you. So if you have some questions, do not hesitate just to ask.
Yeah, there is a question here. If can more than one Nigerian university be involved in the consortium formation? Yes, of course. They want also to create partnership between different countries, but definitely more than one Nigerian university can be involved, because sometimes if your intervention is focused only at the national level and it's not a multicentric validation study, then they will encourage you to engage different institutional partners within the same country. I hope the presenters collaborate with research with little knowledge of AI. Yeah, of course. Is it possible to create a mailing list so we can get information about Horizon Europe?
This is a question for Cognity. Of course, yes. Well, I mean, this is under Cognity responsibility. I would like to ask some question. Could you please highlight the total budget of the project you were awarded?
Yes, this also depends every year, and the topic announce the expected budget per successful project. In our topic, that was innovation in digital health, the expected budget per project was 5 million in order to develop in a timing between 2 to 5 years, the project. And however, this new program in this year, they have changed a little bit the requirements, and they are going to fund a higher number of proposals with lower number. In this case, it's going to be a maximum of 2.3 million per project for the topic focused on transformative digital health, or transformative innovation, I think it's called. However, they plan to fund more proposals per topic. In our year, they only got to fund 4 proposals, and they were submitting originally 83. So the successful rate...
it was 83 in the first stage, then...
Yeah, it was 83 that were originally submitted to the first stage, then around one-third made it to the second stage. And yeah, they eventually only funded 4. So what they are trying to do this year is funding a higher number of proposals that are going to develop projects for a shorter time, and also allocate a smaller budget for the action. But this depends on the specific program and specific topic, because there are other topics focused on, for instance, the development of malaria vaccination initiatives, or new treatments for tuberculosis or HIV, and they expect to have clinical advanced stages for these studies, so they allocate a higher budget for these topics.
Have Have you already
but then
started
we
this?
usually split the budget. We are actually right now signing the grant agreement with the European Commission, and we are planning to start the project at the beginning of June.
Okay. Which, I mean, are you expecting some difficulties in project implementation? And if yes, as usual, how do you plan to manage it?
Well, the good thing is that it's already a requirement for the second stage writing of the proposal for you to develop a section of risk, important risks for the implementation of the action, and then suggest mitigation strategies for those risks. So this is helpful because it already make you focus on the analysis of the potential weak points of the project, how important this is going to be because you have to rate this risk of the likelihood to happen and the impact it can have in the action. And then you can already plan the mitigation strategies to take place. However, you never know, but they usually give you flexibility to change during the action in specific deliverables that you have to submit at a specific deadline, as long as you can justify the reason why there was a change in the original action plan. And
well, I mean, concerning this subject, there is a question from the INSAM. He wrote, what are the potential high risks to be considered?
For example, we have a project in Ethiopia, and it's in the north of the country, and now they have in a civil war. So for that project, a high risk is that we haven't the opportunity to travel there to make the training and to give the technology. So we have some delays in our project. For us, this is a high risk related with some of our proposals because the instability of the countries can be a problem to try to develop the projects. This is like some specific context. It's the first time that happened. This is not the usually, but we have to take into account because sometimes happen that kind of problems or high risk problems.
Yes, and that's why one of the reasons why during the preparation of this other project, we try to involve as many South African partners as possible for the clinical performance evaluation of our technology, because in that case, if there is a political instability in one of the countries, you can have other ones that can take the role of validating the technology and complement the knowledge that is missing in one, because there is a specific situation with one of the partners or one of the countries involved. And
yes. Well, I mean, thank you. If you have, well, I mean, these are high-level risks, but when we mention about more immediate middle-level risks, which are more related just to implementation, can you make some example? For example, which are the main sources for delaying implementation?
Well, in our case, it could be that there is a difficulty implementing the technology developed. For instance, if the application turns out not to be so user-friendly for the health workers that are going to use it, then maybe you have to modify the technology during the project because there are specific issues with the software that they are not so easy to use, or it fails at the accuracy to detect, in our case, on a specific parasite. You can anticipate this, for instance, also depending on the prevalence, in our case, of the specific diseases at the moment we are going to do the validation. it could be a risk in our project because then you are not going to have enough sample size to have a strong validation, and that's why we included different partners. So in order that, for instance, during the evaluation phase is a low season for malaria, and we want to detect and include many samples from patients infected with malaria, that's maybe very low at the moment in Mozambique, but that's why we included also Ethiopia, and they can balance for a strong sample size to have enough power to demonstrate the value of the technology.
Yes, and also in our case, the problems with the connectivity, because sometimes we need to upload the images to the telemedicine platform. So if we haven't connectivity, it can be a delay in our project. But yes, I think that the most important risk is related to the technology development, the connectivity, and also the parasite distribution, as Lucia mentioned, because sometimes not only the distribution, but sometimes there is a massive administration drugs campaigns. So we need to take into account in the time and to take the samples after the campaigns or before the campaigns, not at the same time, because if not, the results are not going to be representative of the situation of the country. So I think that this is the most important risk for us at this moment of the project, that some of, technological logistics and development, and also the distribution of the parasites.
And that's also, for instance, why we decided to include a social science team in the evaluation of the technology, because it's very important to assess the usability, feasibility, and accessibility of a new intervention into a different setting. And the European Commission particularly value in a positive way to include social science in any project, even if it's not focused in social science by itself, like is our case, because then a face in real life in implementation in different challenges can happen, and you can also anticipate them. Also for the ethical approval to happen, or inconsistencies in data collection, different size, and how you're going to try to standardize the data collection through standard operational protocols.
For us, this is a very important point to standardize the between countries, and also to avoid the bias, because sometimes when we are developing artificial intelligence models, we have to take into account the potential bias that we are going to introduce and reproduce with this technology. So this is something that we are going to perform before starting the project, to standardize the protocols and to explore what are the potential bias that we can introduce in our developments.
Yes, and for instance, if you are planning in developing a project where you have something already in an advanced stage, and you are planning to finish the project with a launch and introduction into the market of your technology or implementation drug plan, therapeutical intervention, wherever you are designing your project on, it's also important to include partners focused on the regulation aspect of the technology, because you can face many hurdles and troubles to make it compliant with the current regulation in the local places. So it's important to include those regulatory aspects as potential risks for you to get your product into the market.
Yes, the regulatory pathway, it will be a challenge for us, because the artificial intelligence regulatory is building at this moment. So we need to work exploring the new landscape.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, it will be a challenge for us, but also it's exciting to work in that moment in artificial intelligence as well.
Bene, allora, thank you for your time. If there are no other questions from the participants, I really would like to thank Lucia Pastor and Elena Dacal for your time and for sharing with us. Michael, you want to say something?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for.
Okay. Yes, Roberto, thank you very much for bringing Elena and Julia to speak to us from the Sports Lab. I just want to let participants know that anybody on this call is already connected to Cognity. By getting the link, you're already connected to Cognity. And so it's an ongoing interaction. You can send your request to Cognity at any time. And this is also an opportunity to link up with Elena and Julia and Sports Lab. So you already have a potential European partner for anything you want to do in the area of health, in the area of artificial intelligence and technology generally. And I'm sure they'll be very kind to work with you, to put you through and guide you in any case. Just anybody that presents here is already committed to working with Nigerian partners. And thank you very much, Julia and Elena. I know Cognity will keep up the link with you. I will be able to connect a lot of researchers with you from time to time. Do not hesitate to join us, and we are very grateful to Bato opening up this opportunity. Remember that I said the presentation that we made in January, one of the presenters is already working with Exade University. It is the follow-up, so it is in your hands as participants to take advantage of this opportunity and work on them. Cognity will be there to always provide the connection. Some of the meetings between partners are even arranged by Cognity. So you already have a lot of potential. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Bene, allora grazie. We have 15-minute breaks, so we will start in 15 minutes, which means at 11:30 West African time. Thank you.
Yeah. So,
thank you very much.
Sorry, there is a question from Ngozi.
Dr. Ngozi.
Yes. Yes, you wanted to ask something, Ngozi? We can hear you. I don't know if they have to allow her to speak, the organizer of the meeting. Maybe has to give permission to open the microphone.
Right. Thank you very much. I'm really happy to note that Elena and her partner, they've been working with African partners and specifically Nigerian partners. So I actually sent you a message, Elena. I obviously have not seen it. So this, being that your area of interest is also in AI, I'm developing a proposal. I mean, when I say I mean my school, my university. We're currently developing a proposal on AI in academic learning. So is that something you want to consider? I mean, consider partnering with us. We will appreciate it. Yeah.
Yes, you can. You have our email contact. We can have a separate video call. But yes, it's something that we are interested. So
exactly.
I think that. Yeah.
Okay. If I have to contact, I will email address.
Continue the discussion with them.
We can share the email address with you with their permission. We will share it with you, ma'am.
It's okay. Thank you very much. And then, Prof, when you say reach out to Cognity, there are so many people in Cognity. Please, can you be more specific? Exactly who do we reach out for? Particular...
All right, I'm the project manager for Cognity, and then I got a contact from our senior project officer, Omo Okmo. She has been in contact with you for some time.
That's the thing.
She is the senior project officer.
Okay.
I am the project manager, so I will get across to you at the end of this program. Please be patient.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed the presentations. They are very useful and informative. And thank you, Roberto, for bringing them.
Okay. 11:30, we reconvene.
I see it at 11:30.
All right.
Thank you so much. It was a really pleasure. It's also a great opportunity for us to meet you. So thank you again.
All right, thank you, Elena
Thank you.
and Lucia. I'll follow up with a mail. Thank you very much for the presentations.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having us. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Salve Cristian, buongiorno, Roberto Carpano per il webinar di oggi. Ciao, come stai? Senti, allora grazie per il tempo e per la disponibilità.
Okay, I will be engaging. Hello. Right. Sarah, can you advance the program to the next discussion on food security by Roberto?
Bene. Hello,
Welcome
hello.
back. Welcome back.
Okay, so can we start again, Michael?
Yes, as I said now, I want Clara to advance the presentation slide to the next topic.
See. So, well, I mean, my next, so I have a 10, 15 minutes presentation, and then we have Christian Viola. So, with the focus of, we focus, 1 second, I share. Can you see the screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, we can
now.
see it. Yes.
Okay. So, well, I mean, now I would like just to present a call, which is the improving food security and food system using climate and enhance value chain development in Nigeria. What is this? Well, I mean, first of all, this is a dedicated call for tender for Nigeria and for an amount of 1 million euro. And the subject of this tender is to provide technical assistance to the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. This is a typical twinning exercise, which is something which is different from Horizon and from Erasmus Plus. But I presented this because Michael sent it to me, and I think that it is important that our friends has a global understanding of which are all the different opportunities. The first thing is, what is a twinning project? A twinning project is a sharing of expertise between public organizations like ministries, association, consortium in Europe with counterpart in Nigeria. You may ask about why we are talking about twinning, and does there is any interest in this in participant. And the reason why I mentioned to you this is that if you go to Annex 1 to this twinning fish, and this is the topic that I would like just to share with you, you will see that under the 363, this is the background, and the 363. Well, I mean here. So basically, twinning is there is a resident twinning advisor, which is coming, of course, from an EU member states. And these are the tasks. So the task is support and coordinate a twinning project, the day-to-day management, draft term of reference. But what is important, it is that in addition to the twinning advisor, there is a component leader, and this component leader is someone from Nigeria. So I'm telling you this because Michael sent it to me, and to me this is something which is extremely relevant. I don't think that you are directly involved in this kind of call, but it is important that you have a global understanding of what is going on. Here, for example, there is the name of this Mr. Briggs at the EU delegation in Abuja, and he is the one who could reply to you if you have any questions. And here again, there is the project leader counterpart at the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. He could also be another important point for you if you have to be in touch, and if the issue of food security is something that is relevant to you. So, just to make a long story short, the reason why is important, but you understand that there are also this type of call, and one of the role of cognitive could be the role of identifying and diffusing this call for tender to the participant, is that you may be in touch with these people. So if someone in the food security is interested, could be in touch with the Director for Planning and Research, Tanimo Ibrahim, or with Hamuda Bello, and they can present their curriculum vitae. So basically, this is an example of twinning, and this is one of the financial opportunity funded by the EU that Cognity could diffuse to the NCP network. There are any questions or any comments, Michael, that you would like to say, considering that you send it to me this call, so I was thinking that you have some expectations about it.
Yeah, thank you. When we saw the call, we just thought it's something that is general, but as you explained, I hope I'm unmuted.
Yeah,
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. That it's a training program, and it is directly related to Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and that's why the project leader is already indicated. Also, the local resident training advisor has been appointed. So it's the component leader, and then there are short-term experts that can also be hired. Actually, it's a well-defined project. The log frame is already there. The objectives all have been defined. So, as you said, it's not equivalent to writing a proposal. It's just expression of interest for those who may be interested in serving as short-term experts on the project. That's those who are related to climate smart agriculture and value chain agriculture. Those are the expertise that are needed, and they will have to work directly with Ministry of Agriculture.
You did well, but what is relevant is that the people read this Annex C in Twinning Fish.
Yes.
And I can diffuse. I can share this link in the chat, or Clara, if you can you please copy and paste in chat in order that people who are
Okay.
knowledgeable on this can understand it and be opportunity. But what is important is that if you have information about it, please be in touch with the EU delegation and with the Federal Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Bene, we skip just to the next to the sorry, have to make the screen bigger. Okay, sorry. Okay, the next speaker is Christian Violi. Is Christian online? Yes. Christian will make a presentation on the brokerage events. What are they? Why they are important, and why we focus on this subject. I just want to be short. We have noticed that one of the key constraints for Nigerian organization is to identify and to be in touch with European partners. The two professionals from Spain explain how they did it. They did it through a scholarship from the Spanish embassy in Abuja. Some of the Nigerian partners thanks to this scholarship from Abuja, went to Spain, and they work with this spin-off. So thanks to this, they started then to develop all the links with the spin-off. Stefano Armenia yesterday explained to you how he was in touch with NACETEM. He was in touch with NACETEM. Thank you, because he met NACETEM, let's say, almost by chance in Abuja, because he was invited to a conference at African University for Science and Technology. Then he remained for a few additional days, and then he met NACETEM, and with him he presented an application. But now we will tackle another aspect of this matchmaking event, following a more organized approach, which are these brokerage events. So Christian, he will explain to you which is the chemistry for these brokerage events, which are organized by the Commission. And these events could be run both offline, but for you, it goes without saying, it is difficult just to travel, but there are an offline component and an online component. Christian, thank you for your time, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Nice to meet you all. Thanks a lot, Roberto, for the invitation and for giving me the opportunity to talk about our experience in European projects and to talk you about how brokerage events were important for us in being involved in European projects, and how they can also be important for you, for the Nigerian partners. So can I share my screen? Okay. So first of all, a brief presentation about myself and my company. We are a spin-off company of a public Italian university based in the north of Italy, basically between Milan and Turin, in the city of Novara. So we can take some expertise and competencies from the university, but we are a private SME, so without, I mean, all the bureaucracy of a public university. We have different offices in different regions in Italy, in north, center, and in the south of Italy. But we also have an office in Brussels, and the reason why we, since the beginning of our activity in 2011, we always wanted to have at least at the beginning a contact point, so a person cooperating with us, and then in the recent years also an actual office in Brussels. And we wanted to have this permanent base in Brussels because we have always been convinced that networking and brokerage is the key to be involved in European projects, especially for a small company like we are. And I can tell you that this approach was, effective and is still effective for my company because we have been involved since 2012 in more or less 30 European projects in different sectors and in different European programs, as you can see here, from Horizon 2020, now Horizon Europe, Erasmus Plus, but also other programs managed, for example, by the European Space Agency or by other directorate of the European Commission. And our expertise, so the reason why we can be involved in a different kind of projects in different economic sectors is because we bring let's say transversal expertise to the projects. So we bring mainly economics and legal expertise in privacy, data protection, IPR, business models, but then also dissemination and stakeholder engagement, which is one of our focus. And then we also have some vertical expertise in different sectors, for example, agri-food, energy, security, and so on. And now coming to the core of my presentation, what is a brokerage event? I copied here a definition taken from the B2Match website. B2Match is one of the main online platforms to organize brokerage events, and it is widely used also from the European Commission. So brokerage event is basically a meeting where you can meet potential partners and people interested in being involved in a program or a certain economic sector. So those events are usually held within conferences or exhibitions, and then you can arrange one-to-one or also multilateral networking sessions. As Roberto already said, a brokerage event can be offline, so it can be a physical event, or also an online event, or sometimes a mix of the two different situations. And then brokerage events for specifically for the European project. So the European Commission always organized the so-called info days. So events where the European Commission provide potential applicants with an overview of a program, for example, or specific call for proposals or call for tenders. And usually those events were in Brussels before COVID. Of course, the situation changed a lot during the last years, and currently the European Commission decided in the last few years to.
Bianca, mi sa che mi sono spiegato male. Io mi serviva se tu apri il file che ti ho mandato.
Sorry?
Roberto, please.
Can you hear me?
I don't think that was for
Sì,
you.
il file Excel, vai al foglio 4.
He's making a call.
Roberto, please, can you mute your
Sono
audio,
le prime
please?
due colonne, la E e la F che mi serve.
Roberto.
I've muted him. Go ahead. I've muted him.
Okay, thanks. But can you hear me, right?
Sorry. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Sorry for the
okay.
interruption.
Okay. So what I was saying that currently, I mean, in the last years, the European Commission always wanted to attach brokerage events to the info days already organized by them. And so during a brokerage event, you can do different things. You can present to the other people your organization. So you can go there, or I mean, you can go there online or also physically, and you can just present your organization. You can present your expertise, your previous experiences, your field of interest, and so on. Then, of course, you can meet other people based on your domain of interest, and then you can also present your project ideas. For example, if you have an idea about a potential project, you can present it in some pitching sessions, and you can meet other people, and they can, for example, join your project idea and build the idea with you. But then, I mean, of course, you are, as Roberto said, you are based in Nigeria, so it's, of course, it's a bit difficult and also costly, probably, to attend a physical event. And I mean, before COVID, the situation was more or less 100% on site. So the events were organized mainly in Brussels, and they were mainly on site. Then, of course, immediately after COVID, they were 100% online. So the situation was opposite. And now today, the situation is a mix of the two different situations. So sometimes you have on-site events, not only in Brussels, but also in other European cities. And in other cases, you have fully online events. But in our experience, the interesting point is that even if you have, for example, fully on-site events organized in a specific venue, you can join some way the events, and you can do networking activities without physically attending the event. And now, for example, I will show you a couple of examples of these brokerage events. The first one is related to Cluster 2 of Horizon Europe program. Cluster 2 is about culture, creativity, and inclusive society. And there are, for example, in this cluster, a lot of topics regarding, for example, the conditions in extra EU countries, migration, but also, for example, how to tackle common problems and so on. So there are a lot of topics, potentially interesting for you. And here you can see the platform, the online platform of the brokerage event. So you have here the dates, of course, and how it works. But then you have in here the participants, so the number of participants, and there are a lot of participants already registered. And you can see here, for example, the participants listed by country. And you can see, for example, you have also non-European countries, such as, for example, Kazakhstan or Morocco, or other countries like that, for example, New Zealand, Brazil, and so on, Argentina. And then you have all the list. And for example, I checked it the other day. I don't know if something changed, but for example, you have one person registered from Nigeria. And then what you can do online, you can go, for example, in the participants list, and you can see all the participants. But then you can also, for example, search the participants, for example, by country, by the type of organization, and so on. And then you can go and see the profile of the participant. You can see their expertise and so on, and you can request a meeting with them. And so you can arrange a meeting, and you can do it using the platform, because this is an online event. So you can use the platform to arrange the meetings and to meet people. And then you can also go, for example, in the so-called marketplace. And in the marketplace, you can see the ideas, basically. So the ideas, what the participants want to bring to the attention of the other participants, the main project ideas, and so on. By the way, I know this guy. We are in the common project, so. And you can go again and see, for example, cultural pathways, this idea, for example, migration, identity, and inclusion. You can go there and see an abstract of the idea, and you can again contact the person. And for example, if you are interested in his or her idea, you can contact him and arrange a meeting. But then on the other end, you can have, for example, on-site brokerage event. And for example, this is the case for cluster number 6. Cluster number 6 is about food, agriculture, and so on. And this is an on-site event in Warsaw, in Poland. And of course, you can register, and you can go directly in Poland and attend the event. But also, I'm not not registered. I'm not going to attend the event physically. But again, you can, just by logging in the platform using your, for example, your Google account or your LinkedIn account and so on. You can log in the platform, and you can still see the participants like we did in the other brokerage event. So even if this is fully on site, you can still go and see the description of each participant, and you can still go to the marketplace. So you can see that even if you're not attending physically the event, you can still have some interactions with the participants. You can contact them, and you can arrange meetings using, for example, other platform. You can for example, you can reach them using the email and so on. So you can still do networking activities even if the event is on site. Sorry, I come back to my presentation. So then, of course, I mean, if you want to participate in this kind of events, and if you want to present your organization in this kind of event, you also have to bear in mind that you have to be effective in your presentation if you want really to attract the attention of the other participants. So how you can present your organization? I mean, just give you a couple of simple tips. So first of all, you have to describe the added value of your potential involvement. Why? Because sometimes in European projects, in some topics, for example, in Horizon Europe, the involvement of non-European partners is mandatory. So you have to include some partners from extra European countries. But in other cases, it's not mandatory. You can participate, but you must describe to the evaluator the added value of your presence in the project and how you can describe your added value. For example, you can face common problems, common issues, and, for example, issues requiring shared interventions in different areas of the world. So this can be, for example, an example of added value you can bring, or maybe access to some strategic networks to enlarge, to expand the outcome of a project. Or you can, for example, bring a contribution in terms of innovative solutions. For example, if you are an SME or a company and you develop some interesting solutions, you can bring them to the project. Or you can also describe your capacity in implementing some, for example, some case studies in specific context. For example, I don't know if you have some projects about agriculture, you can show that with your presence in the project, you can, for example, have a case study in an African country, and this can again bring something important to the project. Then the second thing really important is the operational capacity. Because when you are involved in a project, you have to understand that each partner must be able to develop, to implement the activities of the work plan independently. So you can't always rely on the coordinator or on the European partners, but you must have the operational capacity. And the European Commission must verify, must check the operational capacity of all the partners involved in a project. So how can you show that you have operational capacity with a presentation in a brokerage event? For example, you can mention previous experiences previous experiences you have already done, for example, in national projects or in international projects with other countries, for example. Then you can describe the facilities you have, all the logistics uh, that you can bring to the project. Then you can describe your staff. So you can, for example, put in your presentation brief profiles of people in your staff. And then, of course, you have also to to assure to the other partners that your organization have a long-term economic sustainability. Then finally, the network. Why the network? Because when you are building a project and you want to involve some non-European countries, it is often possible to involve a limited number of partners from other countries. So, for example, you have one partner from Nigeria, one partner from, I don't know, Kenya or other African countries. So you are not able, as a European coordinator of the project, for example, you are not able to involve a large number of partners from the same country outside Europe. So the single partner you are going to involve in your project must also involve indirectly its network of organizations in its country. So, for example, you have to show that you are already working with other kind of entities, for example, with universities, with public institutions, with private companies, and so on. And you can describe your network and you can list all the partners you are already cooperating with. If possible, you can also ask to those partners in the network to give you letters of support or letter of interest, and you can also identify the roles of the other entities in the network within the specific project. So, for example, you can I don't know, you are a company, but you are already cooperating, for example, with a public university. And so you can say that, for example, the university will give you support in, for example, analyzing the current situation in your country or in your area. And you can put this in the letter of support. And then, of course, previous projects you have already implemented or you are currently. So those are some, simple, but I think very effective tips to present your organization in that kind of brokerage event. And that's it, basically. I really think that brokerage events are a more structured way to be involved in a community of people interested in the same topic and interested in European projects in general.
Right.
Christian, thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
I wonder if there are some curiosity about this issue, and I was happy that you recognize among the participants someone who already take advantage of this tool. No, you mentioned to me that you recognize someone. Christian, hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you. Yeah.
Well, before you said that you recognize some of the participants as already active in the platform.
Yeah. When I show you one of the two brokerage events, yeah, yeah, actually I recognize partner of us, yes.
Well, I mean, you said something which is very relevant, which is, I mean, one of the key constraints from prospective applicant is to make an effective presentation, and in many cases, presentation are weak. What does it mean? But they are weak. They are weak because you said it very clearly. They are weak because there is no logistic description. It is weak because there is no description of previous experiences in managing projects, which has not only to be necessary EU project, well, I mean, can be projects funded by bilateral cooperation, by financing institution, by foundation, but it is important that you are capable to deliver. And, you know, sometimes there is a weaknesses on that, and also weakness because they do not explain who are the staff available. So my message is just to my participant is take advantage of a brokerage event, but in order to register to this platform, you must before make an effective presentation according to what Christian said. There are no other questions? I mean, I'm sorry that people are not curious about brokerage events because they are really a tool to be in Abuja or to be in Port Arthur, and you can speak with people in Madrid or whatever. Bene, if there are no other questions, I would like to thank Christian. Michael, this is the last presentation. If you want to say a closure remarks, and Christian, could you write in chat your email address? I'm sure that maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow, someone will be curious and say, I do remember what does this Mr. Carpano said us and Christian, so I want just to present myself. Bene.
Yeah, I put it in the chat, but it's also at the end of the presentation. So if you
I see. Bene.
Yeah, okay.
Allora, if there are no other questions, if there are no other remarks, Michael, I don't see you there.
It's in the presentation.
Yes, you're there. Okay.
So thank you very much, Christian.
This is the end of this training course. Ngozi would like to
raise the hand.
Ngozi, she is always very active. Ngozi. Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Ngozi, I'll come up later.
Can you unmute?
Go ahead. Unmute, Ngozi, and go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, I was unmuted. Thank you so very much for this presentation. In fact, when I go to an NCP platform, sometimes the information there it's almost overwhelming. I'm very much interested in this part of the presentation that he has just made. I even saw something like marketplace. I'm really curious. I would like to know a lot about all this. And so I've been on the site now trying to go to that particular page, but somehow I'm not able to. I've gone to NCP networks, I've gone to events. Can he help me to find how to get to that particular page so that
in my presentation there are a couple of links for two different clusters in Horizon Europe, but then you can There's, for example, I can give you another link. Sorry, I'm looking for the link online. For example, here I put the link here in the chat. Here, for example, you can find a list of all the brokerage events taking place in April, May, June, and so on. But you also have a list of the previous events in February, but also in last year, for example, November, October, and so on. And you have all the links, and you can go, you can click on the link. But for example, also events. I mean, past events. You can go there and you can click on the link, and if the platform is available, you can go there and you can see who participated in that event, even if it was, for example, an event held in 2024. But you can go there and you can still find the list of participants. You can still find the ideas, their competencies, and you can still find their contacts, and you can you can start talking with them, even if, for example, the event is already closed.
Okay.
Bene,
Right. Thank you
grazie.
very much. Thanks for the link.
Okay.
I've taken the link. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Michael, do you want to say
No,
something?
I said thank you
as a
very
final
much.
remark?
I've noted what you said, and I've also copied the.
Okay.
Okay.
Bene. Michael, do
Okay.
you want to say something as closing remarks? Christian, thank you again for your
Okay,
time.
is it just
It's
for
been appreciated.
for the program? I think we have a few more interaction with participants after Christian will have left. Christian, thank you very much for your presentation, which I'm sure people will take advantage of as another means of initiating partnership and meeting potential partners from the EU and from other locations. It's very useful and it's very clear what needs to be done.